High cliffs, sudden storms, and paths where one wrong step means no return. The Swiss Alps may look peaceful, but hidden among their beauty are trails that have claimed countless lives. Some are so dangerous that rescue teams risk their own safety just to reach stranded hikers. Others are famous for the tragedies written into their history. And yet, thousands of people still take on these trails every year. Why? What makes them so deadly and so irresistible at the same time? Today, we're diving into the 7 most dangerous hikes in the Swiss Alps and the shocking stories behind how they were built. The Eiger Trail runs directly beneath the infamous north face of the Eiger, often called the Murder Wall. This towering 1,800-meter face has claimed over 60 climbers since the 1930s, and its shadow adds a chilling reputation to the trail. From Grindelwald, the route looks approachable, a picturesque path winding along alpine meadows. But once hikers step onto it, the atmosphere changes. The trail is deceptively easy, which lures casual hikers into thinking it's safe. The reality is harsher. Unpredictable rock falls are common, and boulders tumble down the mountain without warning. A single misjudgment or a delayed reaction can be fatal. Even experienced hikers admit the sound of falling rocks echoes like a constant reminder of danger. Then there's the weather. The Eiger creates its own microclimate, meaning blue skies can vanish within minutes. A sunny hike can suddenly transform into pounding rain or even snow, making the trail slick and visibility poor. Many hikers underestimate how fast storms roll in, leaving them trapped in a place where escape is almost impossible. The Eiger Trail may look like a scenic walk, but its legacy proves otherwise, beauty mixed with deadly risk. The Matterhorn is the ultimate symbol of Switzerland, and the Hornli Ridge is its most famous ascent. While it looks like a natural staircase to the top, the climb is brutal and unforgiving. More than 500 climbers have died attempting the Matterhorn, giving it one of the highest fatality counts of any alpine peak. The dangers begin with sheer exposure. The ridge is narrow, with steep drops on either side. Rock falls, ice, and sudden storms add chaos, leaving climbers vulnerable with nowhere to hide. It's not a trail for hikers. It demands technical mountaineering skills, ropes, and helmets. Yet every year, tourists attempt it, seduced by the idea of conquering Switzerland's crown jewel. Another hidden danger is the crowding. The Hornli Hut, the base for climbers, often sends dozens up at once. This creates bottlenecks on narrow sections where one mistake can trigger a chain reaction. Fatigue sets in quickly as climbers underestimate both altitude and time. Many deaths occur not at the summit, but during descent, when exhaustion and overconfidence collide. The Hornli Ridge is proof that fame doesn't equal safety. It's a deadly path disguised as a dream climb. The Alps Glacier is the largest in Europe, stretching 23 kilometers and holding enough ice to supply the Rhine River for centuries. At first sight, it looks like a frozen highway winding through the Alps, drawing in thousands of visitors each year. But beneath that dazzling beauty lies hidden death. The glacier is riddled with deep crevasses, some as wide as houses, others barely visible under a thin snow bridge. These hidden cracks are like traps waiting for a careless step. Without ropes or a guide, hikers risk plunging into icy darkness with almost no chance of rescue. Every year, accidents happen when people underestimate how unstable the ice really is. Then there's the weather. Clouds can roll in quickly, covering the glacier in thick fog. What once felt like a straight path becomes a white labyrinth where direction is lost. Combined with snowstorms and rapidly changing conditions, even experienced hikers struggle to navigate safely. The Alps Glacier may look like a wonder of nature, but requires respect, preparation, and guidance. Without them, its beauty can turn deadly in an instant. Piz Bernina towers at 4,049 meters, the only 4,000-meter peak in the Eastern Alps. Its most famous route, the Biancagrat Ridge, is one of the most breathtaking and terrifying climbs in the world. Nicknamed the White Ridge, it's a sharp line of snow and ice stretching toward the sky. climbers describe the ridge as walking a knife's edge. One slip to the left or right means falling thousands of meters. The exposure is relentless. There is no safe zone to rest. Add to this the constant threat of avalanches, falling ice, and rock slides, and the ridge becomes a battlefield of natural hazards. The thin air only makes movements slower and riskier. Weather is another enemy. A clear day can transform into a storm without warning, covering the ridge in blinding snow. Climbers who don't turn back in time risk being trapped on a razor-thin crest, unable to advance or retreat. For those who succeed, the views are legendary, but the price of failure is steep. The Biancagrat Ridge has earned its deadly reputation not from exaggeration, but from generations of lives lost along its edge. At 4,545 meters, the Dom is Switzerland's highest mountain entirely within the country. Unlike the Matterhorn, it doesn't have postcard fame, but among mountaineers, it's a giant known for draining strength and testing endurance. The climb begins with a long approach over glaciers riddled with hidden crevasses. Progress is slow, and rope teams are essential for survival. Once the glacier is crossed, climbers face the steep, icy summit ridge, where footing is uncertain and altitude sickness becomes a constant threat. The climb is not just physical. It's a mental test of persistence in thin air. What makes Dom especially dangerous is exhaustion. Many climbers push too hard on the ascent, leaving little energy for the descent. This is where tragedy often strikes. Fatigue causes mistakes, and in high alpine terrain, even small slips can mean death. Unlike more famous peaks, the Dom doesn't attract reckless tourists. Instead, it humbles even trained mountaineers, showing that height and endurance can be just as deadly as technical difficulty. The Schreckhorn, at 4,078 meters, is known as one of the hardest peaks in Switzerland. But the danger begins long before the summit. The hike to the Schreckhorn hut is considered one of the deadliest approach routes in the Alps. The trail climbs exposed cliffs, requiring hikers to use ladders, steel cables, and narrow paths carved into rock. Every step demands focus, because one slip could send someone falling hundreds of meters into the valley. Even strong hikers feel their legs tremble when they realize how thin the line between safety and disaster really is. Rain or snow multiplies the danger. Ladders become slippery, cables turn cold and wet, and visibility drops. Many accidents happen because hikers underestimate how long and tiring the route is. By the time they reach the hut, they are exhausted, and the actual climb hasn't even begun. The Schreckhorn hut route is a reminder that in the Alps, sometimes the approach is deadlier than the destination itself. The Haute route is one of the most legendary treks in the world, connecting Chamonix in France to Zermatt in Switzerland, two towns already famous as gateways to the Alps. Spanning nearly 180 kilometers, it takes between 10 to 14 days to complete, crossing some of the most dramatic and unforgiving alpine terrain in Europe. Unlike ordinary hikes, this is not just a trail. It's a journey through high passes, frozen glaciers, and rugged valleys that demand strength and resilience from every participant. Thousands attempt it each summer, lured by its reputation, but many underestimate just how demanding it really is. The dangers begin with the glaciers. Hidden crevasses lie beneath thin snow bridges that look stable but can collapse under a single step, sending a hiker plunging into icy depths. Some crevasses are so deep they swallow entire rope teams, and only those traveling with guides and safety gear stand a real chance of rescue. Avalanche zones are another constant threat. Warm afternoons can loosen snowpacks, sending tons of ice roaring down the mountainsides without warning. The route may look calm from a distance, but every step carries invisible risks. Weather is perhaps the most unpredictable enemy. A clear morning sky can transform into a raging storm by noon. Whiteouts erase the landscape entirely, leaving hikers disoriented with no sense of direction. In some cases, trekkers have been forced to huddle for hours in exposed areas, battling freezing winds until help could arrive. Even experienced mountaineers admit that the Haute route tests their endurance, not just physically, but mentally, as the constant uncertainty wears them down. Another overlooked danger is exhaustion. The trek requires climbing and descending thousands of meters each day, often while carrying heavy packs. Even strong hikers begin to falter under the relentless elevation gain. By the end of the journey, many are completely drained, making mistakes more likely and recovery much slower. For some, the fatigue alone becomes life-threatening, especially when combined with altitude sickness at higher passes. What makes the Haute route especially deadly is how deceptive it is. Its fame has made it sound accessible, as if it were simply a long-distance hike anyone can attempt. In truth, it requires serious alpine experience, specialized gear, and often professional guides to navigate safely. It's not uncommon for inexperienced hikers to set off thinking they'll enjoy a scenic walk, only to find themselves trapped between glaciers, unable to continue. Local rescue teams know this pattern well. Every year, evacuations are carried out to save those who underestimated the journey. For those who prepare properly, the Haute route delivers one of the most unforgettable experiences in the Alps. Crossing glaciers, climbing over high passes, and finally arriving in Zermatt under the shadow of the Matterhorn feels like walking through an epic adventure. The views are unmatched, and the sense of accomplishment is immense. But for those who go in lightly equipped or poorly prepared, the Haute route becomes more than just a challenge. It can become their final trek.